So we know that we are all concerned about how we can find a better natural way to protect ourselves or to treat in case we got so bad fame COVID-19 disease. So we know bee products have been proved to be successful in such treatment, but unfortunately, not all of them have been carried out in clinical trials, which are the only one which are recognized. I want to point out that this presentation is just the result of the work of the team of Dr. Ionuț Moraru, whom you have already introduced into your message on the WhatsApp, and also of his wife. And I have contributed together for making this presentation related to several other natural compounds or products that can be used together with bee products. So this is a stage of what is happening with bee products and scientific evidence on the viral anti-activity of them, especially with focus on SARS-CoV-2. The ongoing clinical trials against SARS-CoV-2 are only valid with honey and propolis. And we have a study on propolis that have been carried out in Brazil on patients that were sick with COVID, and also honey, but honey not alone, only together with another vegetal material like Nigella sativa. The other studies have been the preclinical, in vitro or in vivo, that on the antiviral activity, but do not include SARS-CoV. Then there are clinical evidence for, you see, honey, propolis, royal jelly, and pollen, but for prophylaxis, excluding also SARS-CoV, and the clinical evidence, unfortunately, it's only made with antiviral without SARS for honey, propolis, and only honey and propolis. Okay. What are the antiviral compounds? Probably this will be repeated several times that are present in bee products. And what are the main mechanisms of action of these compounds? The inhibition of viral proteases, which are the enzymes that make the virus active, are the phenolic acid, the flavonoids, and the polyphenolic ester, caffeic acid phenethylester, the so-called CAPE, whatever you want to call it in English. The virus inactivation is produced especially in honey by hydrogen peroxide, which is produced during the glucose oxidation in honey. And we know that this hydrogen peroxide has been used as an antibiotic, but also the so-called inhibin in honey. That was long ago when honey has began to be studied as a potential pharmaceutical product. The activation of antiviral immune responses, especially in honey, have been shown that levan, a beta-2,6-fructan, which is a polysaccharide produced by fermentation with Bacillus subtilis, and the ascorbic acid can produce this activation of the immune responses. The rosmarinic acid that has been identified in several types of honey can bind the S-RBD and blocks the interaction with angiotensin converting enzyme, the gateway for the virus to come into our body. To reduce the viral load, there are flavonoids like rutin, quercetin, and isoquercetin, in which are abundant in propolis. You will see in the following presentation probably the level of quercetin in propolis, but also in honey and bee pollen. Mechanisms that have not yet been defined are some related to the fatty acids in honey, the 3-hydroxysebacic acid. Also, we know that honey is credited with no fats, no lipids in it. The phenolic acid paracumaric, acid, and benzoic acid. We know it is also an antibacterial and antifungal agent. This is a small scheme in which we try to show how propolis acts on the host and the pathogens. It's somehow recreated from a published study in that shows how propolis acts. So on the host, the propolis works on immune modulation by stimulation the innate immunity and also modulation of the pro-inflammatory responses. But also propolis can maintain the status of the cellular antioxidant system. So it is important from both immunomodulations and the antioxidant activity. At the level of the pathogens, the propolis pathogen penetrate into the host cells, but the propolis used inhibits the key enzymes and the proteins responsible for the penetrations into the host cells. In respect of the replication, one in our body, propolis intervene by inhibiting the key enzymes responsible for the replication of pathogenic genetic material. And in respect of the metabolism of the pathogens, propolis inhibits the energy-producing enzymes at the level of the mitochondria and produce what? The disruption of the cell wall of the pathogen. Propolis and honey flavonoids, example, rutin, naringin, cape, luteolin, and artipilin C in green Brazilian propolis, can inhibit viral spike protein fusion in host cells, virus host interactions that trigger cytokine storms and viral replication. Similar to remdesivir, a routine ethanol propolis extract and propolis liposomes, about I have already spoken, can inhibit SARS-CoV-2 non-structural proteins in vitro. That was the results of the study. And these compounds, together with naringin, inhibit SARS-CoV-2 infections in viral E6 cells that have been used in the study. So, as the propolis extracts provided by nanoparticles have better antiviral effects than the ethanol extracts, we should try these pathways, probably can offer better results. Similarly, in the study with honey and the Brazilian propolis and the combination with Nigella sativa reported an earlier viral elimination, recovery of the symptoms, discharge from hospital earlier, and lower mortality than their counterparts who received only the standard care into the hospital. Now I will come back to the bee product, possible honey and royal jelly, but 10-hydroxy-DCA decinoic acid exists also in these compounds, can make an induction of leukocyte attachment to viruses with their destruction. And also, this compound can promote the maturation of dendritic cells derived from human monocytes and the polarizing ability of T helper type 1 T cells, strengthening the antiviral immunity. So we have here the picture of the bee products. But there are several natural products that can be used together in synergy with bee products, offer better results. I'm speaking now about well-known natural probiotic Kefir, which can be used in several formulations together with bee products. They show antiviral and immunomodulatory and anti-inflammatory activities, and the active compounds involved are the polysaccharides, proteins, and peptides, macro elements. We know Kefir is very rich in such both macro and micro elements, essential amino acids, the vitamins B1, B2, B5, and C, fats, and also the secondary metabolites like catechin, vanillic, ferulic, and salicylic acids, and also a very, very important product, which is kefiran, specific to kefir, microflora produced by Lactobacillus kefiranophaciens. What are the mechanisms? First, the inhibition of angiotensin converting enzyme inhibits the viral adhesion, suppresses viral activity. From immune point of view, this kefir can increase the production of G lymphocytes and immunoglobulins, improving the expression of cytokines, interleukin-1 alpha, IFN gamma, tumor necrosis factor alpha, interleukin-6, and interleukin-10, which is specially attacked by kefiran. From anti-inflammatory activity, it's the inhibition of the cytokine activity, such interleukin-1 beta, tumor necrosis factor, and interleukin-6. Colostrum, we all know these very, very precious products that we got from our mothers with the first milk that we suck. So colostrum is the main source of immunoglobulins, and with it, we start our life with the best nutrition. Colostrum shows antiviral, immunomodulator, and anti-inflammatory activity, and the main active compounds are lactoferrin and lactoperoxidase, as well as lipids from which anti-infective degradation products are generated during digestion, and antimicrobial peptides. There are very small peptides, very active, but very important are the immune globulins, IgG, the gamma globulins. Some combinations or ingredients and their biological action mechanism with their active compounds can also have good results in association with the bee products. I will introduce the main compounds in a well-known product in Romania that had been developed by Dr. Moraru, and which really has been used by a lot of our colleagues in Romania that are practicing apitherapy. And this is an important combination of 9 mushrooms traditionally used in Japanese medicines that influence the immune response, the natural killer cells, the macrophages, the T4 helper, and T8 delayed hypersensitivity lymphocytes. They have a prolonged effect on cellular immunity and stops the cell invasion and viral replication. That has been seen in the treatments carried out by Dr. Moraru, that the effect on cellular immunity is prolonged even 10 days after the treatment with this product has been ceased. The active compounds are the polysaccharides, complexes of polysaccharides with proteins and peptides, enzymes like ribonucleases and proteases, and lectins. There are also the secondary metabolites already mentioned, like low molecular weight compounds, lactones, terpenoids, and alkaloids, not the bad ones, antibiotics, and metals that act like chelating agents. Then a herbal support for viral infections produced by spagyric technique containing stinging nettle, astragalus root, echinacea, the aerial parts, and the root of licorice, shows antiviral, antibacterial, antioxidant, immunomodulatory effects, and inhibition of viral replication, especially of licorice root. And these are due especially for astragalus for the polysaccharides with immunomodulatory and antioxidant properties. Another proposed ingredient or combination is that of fermented plants like black radish, Raphanus, and licorice, plantain, Grindelia robusta, Daucus carota, and black pepper fruits. They are also used in this combination of the product. Another very important, and that has been mentioned in several presentations and intervention yesterday, is the essential oil from oregano, which has strong antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal activities, strengthen the immune system, which proved to be very effective in COVID-19. And the main compounds that have been studied, and we know many, many details about them, are carvacrol and thymol. The black cumin essential oil, Nigella sativa, is also immune stimulant, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, but has also some other important activities like the antitussive, bronchodilators, and antihistaminic agent. We have already mentioned the clinical studies that have been carried out with honey and Nigella sativa. Here are the omega-6 and 9 fatty acids that are found into the seeds of Nigella, vitamins of the A, B, C, amino acids, enzymes, and minerals, especially not only the macro but trace elements, saponins and nigellones, which are specific substances from which the most study was timokinone. Another ingredient, natural ingredient, is the honeysuckle extract, Lonicera japonica, which prevents influenza A virus infections with all the variants like H1N1, H5N1, H797, but also against SARS-CoV-2 and herpes simplex. These are credited with the existence of some uncoded mRNA nucleotides and the microRNA 2009-11 from the microRNA classes. The horseradish, Armoracia rusticana, which unfortunately in the EU Register of Health Questions of Health Claims has no such claim permitted. It's the antiviral, antioxidant, and the regulation of the inflammatory function and the direct antimicrobial properties. The main compounds also are glucosinolates, but also the microRNA, the same, the code 2911. Shilajit, or mumio, it's the so-called mountain resin in Himalaya, which is very important because of its very rich compounds in minerals and not only resins, which supports the normal functioning of the immune system. Silver and the essential oils like eucalyptus and oregano, together with propolis tinctures, can offer very good antiviral, antiseptic, and antifungal effects. Of course, we know silver has always been an antimicrobial, a strong antimicrobial. That's why the kings were using their cutlery in silver. And also the active components of essential oils already mentioned for oregano. A very interesting product with highly nutritional action and a wonderful immunomodulator activity is the product called Amrita, which is a kombucha fermented polyflower pollen with a consortium of bacteria and yeasts. Amrita, the so-called food of God, was also obtained through a research international project by Dr. Moraru and his team. The high content in probiotics, polyphenols, flavonoids, silicon, proteins, and essential amino acids make out of it a very rich and important ingredient in products like biotics with different destinations, target organs, but especially very useful in COVID treatment. Another product, which is a result of an international research product, which is also on the way now, is a combination between colostrum and kefir. Actually, it is fermentation of colostrum with kefir granules, which offers a wonderful modulation of the immune systems, helps maintain the normal intestinal flora, which is so important in fighting COVID disease, but has also important gastrointestinal and cardiovascular effects. This called kefir, already registered mark, is a prebiotic, meaning that it shows both pre, po, and postbiotic activity. It has extremely high bioactive peptides like lactoferrine and immunoglobulins, transfer and growth factor. Of course, we should not neglect the vitamin C and D, which support immunity. I will not mention here the claims written in the Regulation 432 on 2012 in Europe for the accepted health claims for food and food supplements. That is all. It's not all, because we have always a lot of other things to discover, and in our experience, those as medical doctors or other healthcare practitioners can find more and more natural products that can be used together with the products to increase our immunity and to help fight in case of disease. Thank you very much for your attention.